is what we do every week, helping people out, diving a little bit deeper in that, talking about clearing, cleansing some of those things from your bodies, from your energy.
This is more my space. So Zac's more real estate space. I'm more in the energetics and so.
And you should listen to her because she's really freaking smart when it comes to these things.
He is like the happiest, most positive person that I know. So much so I'm like, is this real? Like, but it is.
I'm an expert in creative finance. Love creative finance. Talk to Space Off about that and all the wonderful things with that. Mindset and raising private capital.
I'm an energy healer. I teach intuitive development and spiritual mentor. And I help people learn about themselves and how to use their energy and the energy around them to create realities that they really enjoy and want.
Whatever comes up for you guys. That's the point. That's the beauty of you guys showing up here live for everything, is that we want to answer your questions. We want to dive deeper into your examples. We want to help you specifically. Hey, happy Monday. Happy Labor Day. I'm Zac. This is Monique, my lovely wife, beautiful baby mama. If you guys haven't been following us, and we are here with this energetic alignment and mindset podcast. Bam. All about bringing happiness, good energy to your week, starting you out right. Or, you know, sometimes people get a case of the Mondays. So it's like, all right, if you got some gunky stuff to clear up, let's clear that up tonight, give you some awesome perspectives, show you that you're not alone in this world, and give you some more little tidbits just to make your lives a little bit better, to get you towards where you want to be, get all the wonderful things that you want to attract in your life, make them a reality, because it's entirely possible. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what we're here to give lots of love for, is just loving on everyone, helping out, you know, as much as we can. So yes, starting your week out right. Hopefully you guys had an awesome day off. We've been having a lot of water days here in Northeast Ohio, and floating around and just enjoying the time when you can.
Because we got a pool.
Because we got a pool, and
It's
summer
funny.
is not even close to being over.
It's not. It is not close to being over. So all of you people that want it to be Halloween today,
We love Halloween.
we love Halloween, but it is still summer.
Yeah.
Just like when Halloween comes around, it will still be fall. It will not be December.
So you don't need to have that negative attitude or be around those people like, oh, you know, fall's already here. Bullshit. It's not already
summer.
here. It's
It is
summer.
still summer.
Yeah. So enjoy that, you know, live in the moment. Don't live in that future like that of the thing that you don't necessarily want to come. Or maybe you're a fall person, and so you're so excited for the fall because fall's cool too.
I love fall.
Yeah.
But it's summer and I like summer.
It's summer. And this week we've got, in the 90s we're going to get in Ohio. So yeah, we're floating around and just chilling out. So I hope you guys had an awesome day off. Hopefully you didn't have to work, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. We choose to make every day a vacation day or a work day. That's the beauty of having that entrepreneurship, that we've both led our lives. Me now for 11 years and you for...
Me for 6.
6. If you've been ever struggling where you started out, you know, transitioning from a job to where you work for someone else to working for yourself, then you'd know it can be freaking rough and it can be freaking lonely, and you're just in your head a lot of the time. So that's where both of us value all of this, is just this energy that's inside of us, these stories that we're telling ourselves, good, bad, neutral, all those things. It's just understand that you are telling yourselves things every day, whatever that is. So just be consciously aware of that, and then understand how to manipulate that to your benefit. You know, lean in the direction that you want to be, because that's entirely possible. Entrepreneurs need a little bit more love here in the world. So that's where we are. We're going to support you in that and just let you know that it gets better. Everything gets better, right? Every little day we're inching closer. Absolutely. Well, if you want it to get better, okay, bam, that's what it is. And if you focus on all those negative things, you're just flushing your life right down the toilet. Boom. no
We're either
good.
spiraling up or spiraling down. But
That's right.
before we go any further, if you're live, feel free to say hey in the comments.
Yeah, add
you're
comments
watching the
anywhere.
replay.
We will see them. Say hi if you want us to get going on this thing, or you're just saying a happy day. You know, we
Yeah, show
respond
us
very
some
well
love if you're
to
live.
any of your comments. We like
And if
saying hi to
you're
people.
watching the replay, feel free to say hey. One of
Yeah.
us will come back and greet you. And talking about like the stories and stuff, how we just got a pool. Like both of us grew up without pools and without a lot.
Without
I
a lot of
guess.
money,
Yeah.
no, yeah, lower
And so
middle class.
It was like
for
a
me.
mindset shift to like be someone with a pool.
Yeah,
And when we started actually like putting the things in motion to get the pool, I remember like, oh shit, are we actually doing this? Because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to actually do it. Even though it's something that we both want, it's something that we'll both use a ton. I love water. I love pools.
heck yeah.
And I love being out in the sun. And so we knew that we would both use it. But even so, there's still that little like voice in your head, like, do you really deserve this? Are you actually that type of person? And it's just funny, like things that aren't financially related, things that aren't work related, things, it's not just in that realm that our mind can hold us back via how we've identified in the past or what we thought would be possible for us or anything. And it's just interesting to see it play out in real time, like feeling the resistance of moving towards something that you want.
Mhm.
Like we all do this. We all will block ourselves from receiving more pleasurable things because we don't know if we're worthy of it. We don't know if we're
Yeah.
deserving of it. We don't know if we can hold it. We don't know if we have the capacity for it in our life. We don't know who we'll be when we get there. And a lot of times we do see that in our profession, being entrepreneurs, we see that a lot financially, but this is with relationships. I see people self-sabotage relationships all the time. This is with things like getting a pool or improving your house or upgrading your vehicle or whatever it might be. We subconsciously hold ourselves back because we don't, on some level, we don't believe that we deserve this pleasure, or we're not the type of person that has XYZ, right? That experiences XYZ, that lives this type of way.
It's not just my story in my head that was only the rich kids had the pools growing up, right? So in my mind, I was just like, well, pools, they're not necessarily for me and my family. And I would even make up justifying stories, and because you would repeat what other people would say, like, oh, pools are a lot of work. Pools cost a lot of money. And so you just make all these justifications, and all that is BS that's in our head. They don't have to be any of those things, right? But it's that feeling that we get from something that we experienced in the past. And it's just noticing that and saying, is that really my feeling that I feel right now? Is this true to me right now? If this isn't in alignment with the person that I'm being, that I am, that I'm leaning into, well, then why do I need to feel these feelings? But more importantly, you can ask yourself, you know, what's going on? How do I react to these feelings? Why am I reacting to these feelings? You can even start to dive into where these things came from, because probably they're just the tip of the iceberg for a big problem that's inside of you that's affecting every other thing in your relationship, in your financial relationship, in every area. Yeah.
These things show up in one area. They might show up very blatantly, but then they'll show up in other areas very subtly. And that's why when you can address the core, which is typically within your energetic field and your nervous system, because your nervous system and your energetic field are very intricately linked, then we can clear that and move past that. And really it all comes down to like feeling confident and empowered in your sense of self and having a high self-concept and believing that you're someone that is worthy of the things that you desire. And that is the solar plexus, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. But before that, just before that, solar plexus is where we're going. But in good news that's happening, Baby Maverick countdown, bum, 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 any day now. Guys, I don't know if you know, but it's our first child. It's a boy, and her belly is about as big as this room right now.
Yeah,
so I'm surprised there's any room here.
Hey, Devin.
But absolutely, we've got a child that's going to be coming in the way. His first experience is going to be with a pool because we're giving a home birth in our living room. So pools are going to become very normalized to him, right? So he'll have to work through his own traumas that he develops from all the love that we give him or something like that. Who knows, right? But we all have our own cross to bear and work through that. So yeah, absolutely. We've been on this awesome series where we've been talking about the chakras, the different parts of your body, those energy centers that are in that. And of course, we do this energetic alignment because it's that idea that your mind, your body, and the spirit, they're all synced up. That is energetic alignment. And it just makes life easy and happy, and it just feels right. And you're like, if you're not feeling those types of things, then you're not synced up. You're out of alignment for whatever reason. So we're continually giving lots of tips and tricks and ways of looking at things that just gives you a slightly different perspective, and it might relate really well to you and what's happening in your life right now, especially if you listen with a keen ear and you try and relate it to your part of your life. We might say a relationship between people, but it could also be a relationship in your work environment, in your financial environment, or anything. But if you listen and you feel at the same time, what ends up tightening up in you, and you'll start to get an idea of spots within yourself that you can find opportunities for a cleansing, a clearing that can happen from all of that. And I'm going to tell you, it's like a goosebumpy type of feeling when you don't have to feel this heavy, gunky stuff on you anymore. And life just feels wonderful. And you can just lean in, like the lazy river, it's going to take you. That's life. It's going to take you which way. But we're telling you that we can guide that river ahead of yourself going, to the places that you want it to go. And so that's what we're all about. And so, so chime in if you're ready to go. You have any questions along the way, please, if you have any experiences that you can relate to and anything like that. And we'll end up reacting to that too. Just so you know, we do have classes and one-on-one if you want to work with us. Mine is more real estate type of space. Hers is absolutely solely everything that can change your life in your energy field and for all of that stuff, which ends up affecting everything else in life. So as we're saying, we're getting into the chakras. We've gone through a whole bunch of them so far.
A few. And
so here we are. We're on your solar plexus.
Yeah. The solar plexus. Yes. And you said something. Oh, how clearing, cleansing. Yes. And this is a lifestyle. It's not like a one and done type thing. I do want to address that because as we move into the solar plexus, each week that we've talked about a different energy center, I know that I've given some type of exercise that you can do to connect to that part of your body and to connect to that energy to clear out the gunk and call in the good. Mm-hmm. And yes, these exercises are very, very short and they can take as little as 30 seconds, as much as 20, 30 minutes if you really want them to, but they don't have to. It's your own personal preference. But the point of energy work is one, sometimes it's so simple that people overlook it as just being kind of stupid or insignificant. I've
done that and think that this isn't going to necessarily do something. This isn't going to have an effect because it's not complex. Yeah, right. I'm a thinker, so I'm like, oh, it's got to be this whole complex thing.
But also, I just thought of this.
Yeah.
Thinking of that, it has to be this whole complex thing because what do we do in school? We learn that if you're not learning more complex things, you're not getting better. You're not improving, right? However, what is the basis of those complex things? It's the foundations of knowing our numbers, knowing our alphabet, knowing how to pronounce words, how to read, how to write. And that's what energy work is. It is the foundation of who we are, of what we are. And if we aren't practicing our alphabet, if we aren't practicing the numbers and counting, if we aren't learning how to pronounce things or read or write or anything like that, and we're just skipping that, we're going to end up in algebra being like, why are there letters and numbers together in this equation? Like, what the heck is this? We're going to end up in English class being like, okay, yeah, I'm looking at this book and it feels really heavy, but I don't know what the fuck it says. And I think a lot of people want to jump to like freshman year of high school or graduating high school without first learning the elementary basics. And so when I give these exercises each week and we talk about this stuff, this is like a lifestyle foundation to build upon, to just continue to learn and immerse yourself within, because that's when you really experience the changes. It's when you experience the synchronicities. Yes, you'll have little hints of them. And that's what I want you guys to look for, is the evidence. Like, look for the evidence of the good, right? We want to look for the evidence of the positives and how things are working for us, because it's really, really easy to look for evidence of how things aren't working for us.
Right.
And we can get
Everyone
really
has a
caught
friend
up in
like that too.
Yeah.
And it's,
we all have days
fun.
like that.
Sure.
Too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to harp on those things because they're easy to notice those negative things.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can get excited with each other harping on the negative things, but where does that really get you?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
when we focus on what we want and what we're working towards, then we can create more of that in our life, because our entire energetic system starts to scour for that and starts to align with that. So you literally become a match, like you've graduated to the next level of the video game. And that's the level of the video game you're seeing. You're not seeing the level below or the level above. You're seeing the level of the video game in which you are playing. Right. So if we want to change the level, we have to change our perspective and change how we're showing up every day. And part of that is by taking care of our energy field, energetic hygiene. This is like, I wish that there was like an energetic hygiene 101 class, because I love talking about energetic hygiene and talking about the solar plexus. This is the energy center that is responsible for how confident we feel. This is the energy center that is responsible for that, like, that passion that we feel when we're excited about something, or the fear that we feel when we're timid, when we're doubting ourselves. It can be self-doubt, or it can be self-empowerment. It can be, we know that our solar plexus is a little whack if we're on one end of the spectrum, if we're in like complete victim mode and we're just like people pleasing hardcore. I used to be a really big people pleaser. I've gotten better.
Now she just pleases me. So
yes, I
take that.
Yeah.
How you will.
You're so silly.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking.
What
about
did you?
that.
Yeah. Did you have a good logical point to help everyone?
People pleasing. Yeah. So victim mode, people pleasing, very like scared to speak your truth, very scared to put yourself out there, very doubtful of your abilities, of things working out for you, very reclusive, very introverted, right? This is like an unhealthy level of introversion and reclusion away from being social or doing things that you enjoy or anything like that. And yes, we're going to have periods of time when this happens, right? Like even today, right before this call, I was ready to recluse myself right into the living room with you after our day. It was just a day with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Lots
ready
of talking.
To just wind down, but instead we get to wind up with you guys, right? I love it. But yeah, so we're going to have periods of that. This is like if it's an elongated process, right? So that's one end of an imbalanced solar plexus. The other end of an imbalanced solar plexus is the narcissist. It's the overinflation sense of self, the I'm better than everybody else, the my shit don't stink type personalities. Or the personalities that are like very headstrong and they blame other people. So it's still kind of a victim mentality, but it's from like a more aggressive state. So these are like the people with very short tempers. These are the people that get angry very easily, irritated very easily. They might like fidget a lot because there's too much solar plexus energy coming in, and the solar plexus is the fire energy. So they might be like really fidgety. Or just like very anxious, and you're just like, what the heck is up with this person? Or they just make you feel bad because they feel good by putting others down. So they want power over people.
not power with people.
So it sounds like they're this is a very extroverted type
Can be
of
a
thing.
very extroverted
Since
type of
it's
person.
either a people pleaser or it's like a sucking the power from them to like always be better than.
And they're both imbalances are energy vampires, because the victim and the people pleaser, they need that external validation to lift them up, right? But the narcissist or the very aggressive type personality, they need other people to put down to lift them up. So they're both siphoning energy from other people because they have an imbalance in their solar plexus.
So we can notice this either in other people or in ourselves or both.
Yeah.
And all of that. And it's just, most of this is just noticing so that we can understand what to do next.
Yeah.
Right. And we can choose, because we're humans. That's one of the things that we are allowed to do. The power of choice. We have that power. So, and we also have the power of who we associate with at the same time. And eventually, sometimes, I mean, I've posted it before, where it's just, you end up graduating from certain friends to other friends in life where they're not, they're not vibing on the same energy. You might say that anymore. They're not picking you up anymore. They're putting you down, and they're putting other people down. It's like, that might be fun every now and then when you're feeling that bully type of mood, but like then you grow out of that and you're like, let's be decent human beings and uplift everyone so that we're all doing awesome things together, so that you just, we can all get excited and happy together.
Yeah. So with the two imbalanced ends of the solar plexus, the one end, the victim, the people pleaser, they scurry from any type of confrontation. The other end, they almost seek it out, right? But with a balanced solar plexus, this is the person that is confident. This is the person that understands, like, yes, I'm going to get mad, but I know not to lose my temper. I can control my temper. I can express my anger, but I can also have a civilized conversation with someone. And I can know when I'm getting upset, I'm going to walk away, right? This person also feels very confident. They can walk into a room and know they're bringing value to the space. They're bringing value to the room. They are a valuable contribution to whatever group they are within, right? They know that they're adding some type of improvement to their friend groups, to their work groups, to, if they're an employer, to their employees, if they're an employee, to their employer, and if in their relationships, they know that they bring this. They know that they are worthy of what they want. Okay. So,
and they're listening, they give pauses, it's interactive, great communication, explanation. It's not just me, and it's not just you, or any of those types of things.
They want
it's
to
a
grow
good balance.
with you. Like they want to grow with you, like a healthy relationship, versus stepping on you to grow above you, or not wanting to grow out of fear of like what's on the other side of this.
So these people that are like that, they just got something whacking their solar plexus. Is that what it is?
So the person I just described, they have a healthy solar plexus.
Yeah.
The other two, there's something whack going on.
There's something whack in there.
The victim, the people pleaser, they don't have enough solar plexus energy. The narcissist, the over aggressive person, they have too much solar plexus energy. Either way, it's an imbalance. Also, some physical ways that you know that there's an imbalance with your solar plexus is if you're having liver or gallbladder issues, if you are having issues with your gut, anything with the gut is associated with the solar plexus. If you're having issues like with your stomach, like acid reflux, that can be a solar plexus issue. It's also a throat chakra issue. If you are finding yourself just hopping into relationships just for that physical connection, no deeper intimacy, because the solar plexus is the chakra that's between the heart and the sacral. If you remember when we talked about the sacral, that is our connection to other people, our sense of self and relationships, how we relate to others. And then the heart is the center of love. It's how we connect deeply at like a divine level with those in our life. So if the solar plexus is like imbalanced, then that flow of energy between the sacral and the heart is all messed up. So then we can end up finding ourselves just like sleeping with people just to sleep with them, like for the validation of, oh, I'm someone that someone wants to be physical with.
It's that vampire type of attitude, just taken to the bedroom, taken to the
Yeah, it's getting validation through
short-term,
physical intimacy, but
Mhm.
there's no deeper intimacy beyond that. It's looking for the validation that I'm good enough, but there's no emotion there, right? So this type of person with an imbalance will find themselves in those type of relationships, or the types of relationships where it's hard to connect emotionally. It's hard to connect at a deeper level. Maybe it is very surface. It is like very tumultuous, a lot of aggression, and that's where you get the passion. You're mistaking passion and aggression with one another, right? There's not that sense of safety. So someone with like a messed up solar plexus, they might find themselves in relationships like that. They might find themselves in relationships with their boss being very overbearing, or they're afraid to speak up at work. So these are just some things to look out for. Or if like you're having digestive issues, that's a solar plexus issue. So digestive, as well as any like types of food sensitivities or not being able to eat certain foods, we can address that through addressing the solar plexus.
Isn't it funny how the body ends up responding, and when something is out of whack in, call it your mind, call it your energy centers, call it your chakras, whatever, something's out of whack, it ends up manifesting as a disease because it just clumps together in your body because you either have too much, a deficiency, or like a blockage essentially of your energy, your something, but it just manifests in your body, and it manifests enough that you can end up getting these studies and everything that says, oh, you know, this is out of whack in this part here. And Western medicine doesn't address a lot of these things because Western medicine is more for treating acute types of things as opposed to long-term things in your body. They just, I mean.
In Western medicine, we learn to address things in silos. The body is a system.
Yeah,
and
not a holistic type of approach,
system.
not a like everything together. Let's go and attack this thing like a laser.
Yeah.
And think that it has no effect on all the other things that are attached to it, that are around it, that interact with it. You know, it's very limited in that regard. And so it's good at addressing things real quickly. But then does it really address it for the long term at the end of the day? And sometimes it's just a big old Band-Aid that's put on something, or they'll just remove it and say, we don't understand why this is all messed up. It's got to go, right? As opposed to just healing it in a holistic way where your whole body pumps that awesome energy through you and just everything is all good and in sync. And so, yeah, I love looking at things in a different perspective because everything together has the answer at the end of the day. All of these things, it's all of these things together. It's just one's just going in with a laser or a scalpel, maybe, if you will, but like a dirty scalpel that just cuts everything out, or maybe it's a machete, or some of them are a bomb that just goes off and it just bombs your whole body because it's like, oh, it's all messed up. So we got to fix it by just pumping you full of toxins and then radiation on the outside. And like, that's the best when there's something that's systemic that's going on inside that's the problem to begin with. And a lot of people don't address that. And the problem is that it manifests in disease when you haven't addressed it for such a long time that it's just accumulated to this point and you don't know any better. And everyone wants a quick fix nowadays. And they think the only quick fix is a pill. And so here we are to change that mantra and to change that attitude and get ahead of the problem, everyone. Get ahead of that thing and just clear it out a little bit every day, like working out every day, but just make it all happy and clear. So what do you do? What do we do when we find ourselves when we notice that something in our any of our different chakras are out of whack, but specifically our solar plexus for today? What do we do when we notice it either in ourselves and then in someone else? Because that's different to be like, yo, man, your solar plexus out of whack. You should do XYZ. I don't know if that's going to work for everyone around us, right? But
so
when we identify something like that and you know it at that point, that's what you kind of want to do is just say, yo, slap someone, shake them upside down from their ankles and be like, wake up.
Well, you can't make someone change. They have to want to.
Number one.
Hey, James. And the second thing is that if you notice that something is off, so if any of the things that I just said resonate with you and you're like, oh crap, like I notice that that's a pattern of mine, or I notice that I've done that, or I'm currently doing that. Also, procrastination is a big one with the solar plexus being off, because when we're
that might be me.
procrastinating,
Now I'm raising my hand on this one.
When we procrastinate, it's because we are doubting ourselves in some way. We're doubting our ability to move forward. We're fearing what's on the other side because we don't believe in ourselves as much. Remember, all self-doubt, all self-belief, all confidence is the solar plexus, right? And so when we realize like, oh crap, like something needs addressed here, then what you want to do is, one, recognize like it's not the end of the world. It's not going to be solved in a day. It didn't happen in a day, but you can start taking steps today to shift the energy immediately. And that's what's so cool with energy work, is that it's so simple that people overlook it, but because it's so simple, it's so quick to promote shifts. And energy shifts fast. It is the continuous integration of that shift that people get a little funky around, because energy can shift in an instant, but then it's continuing that shift, keeping that shift going, embodying that shift, integrating that shift at the deepest level. That's where people struggle. And this is why this is a lifestyle. It is not a one and done type thing, because your energy can be great one moment, and then the next moment, what was just totally balanced and totally fine is all funky because you got triggered or something happened, right? So when it comes to the solar plexus, something that you can do is, one, as I've said with other energy centers, take some time to close your eyes and practice connecting with that area of your body. It's right above your belly button, beneath your sternum. So it's that area right in like the middle of your stomach. It's quite literally where your stomach is.
So bring your attention there. Think about that. Notice it. Notice what's going on.
Yeah, and just notice how it feels.
When have you focused on that one part of your body, you know, inside, outside, all the way through, just for a minute?
Yeah.
A couple minutes. I mean, however long you do it, it's longer than you've ever done it. I almost guarantee you that, right? And it doesn't take long. And that's the thing, is sometimes people will think that energy work is more of this long-term thing that you need to do. Yes, and it's something that can affect you like a pill right away. Faster than a pill, because a pill has to get digested. That's the fun thing about it, is the energy work can happen right now, right away. But like she was saying, it's something that has to be kept up. Otherwise, you know, you haven't focused
it's like mowing
on you
your grass.
in forever.
You mow once and it looks great, but if you don't mow for the rest of summer, it's going to look like a tundra.
Yeah.
And so you want to take care of that.
Yeah.
And so sending your awareness to your solar plexus and just noticing how it feels. Does it feel more on the dense side? Does it feel more on the light side? Can you even notice it? Or does it feel like there's just nothing there? Because if there's nothing there, if it feels like, I don't feel like there's really anything here, or I feel like it's just very, very, very airy, then that tells me that you don't have a lot of boundaries, because solar plexus is also boundaries. And that tells me that your energy, like you are in the, I don't have enough energy in my solar plexus, because there's no boundaries. So there's nothing to kind of consolidate your energy field. It's just kind of all over the place. You're giving energy to whoever wants it. You're taking on whoever's energy that you come into contact with. So you might feel a little, by the end of the day, a little scatterbrained. You might feel a little exhausted. You might feel like after a conversation with someone, you're like, holy shit, I need to go like lock myself in my bedroom for a while and just watch Netflix, because I can't have another conversation for the rest of the day, right? If that's you and talking to people, you just get totally exhausted, or being around people, it just completely depletes you. And I understand, like when we're all in like we've been with friends all weekend. So I'm excited to just kind of chill with just us. However, it's after one conversation. If you feel totally drained, like I need a nap, that's when we know you need to work on some energetic boundaries. That's when we know like, okay, there's not enough energy here, because I'm just giving my energy to whoever wants it. And I'm taking on other people's energy as well. So that would be like, if you try to connect and you're like, there's nothing, like I don't sense anything, then we would want to address the boundaries, which I'll get to. If it's too dense, then that means that there's an obstruction of flow of energy. So there's a backup somewhere. So then we want to address that. And then if you notice it and you're like, okay, this feels light, this feels open, I can feel myself, I can sense myself. That's the sweet spot. That's the Goldilocks. That's what we want. So if it's too dense, and that means that there's an obstruction of energy flow, if we tune in and we're just like, oh my gosh, I feel so heavy. I feel like there's a rock in my stomach, or I just feel like there's something here and it feels just like anger or aggression, or it feels like sadness, or just how we feel low after maybe we've been rejected, or we've experienced some self-doubt, or we put ourselves out there and it didn't turn out the way we wanted to. And you kind of feel that pit in your stomach. If you experience any of those, what you want to do is you want to set your intention to disconnect from any energy that's not yours. So we want to disconnect. We want to send that energy back to wherever it came from.
Those are the key words right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have her rewind just a little bit, just to repeat that once, because it's good when she says set the intention. What does that mean? Set the intention. Do we think of that internally? Can we say that out loud?
So you're just like, you setting the intention is saying, I disconnect from any energy that's not mine. I send it back wherever it came from. So we are intending our energy to go back to wherever it came from. And then what you can do is imagine like a bright white light flowing through the top of your head out through your solar plexus, right? So when you breathe in this light coming down through your head. And then when you breathe out and just imagine it radiating out of your belly. Okay.
Kind of like a Care Bear.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Working with light and visualization is a super powerful way to work with our energy field. Me too.
Yeah.
And it's a super powerful and quick way to work with our energy field. And so when you imagine that, the white light is just very purifying and very high vibrating. And so when you can see that just kind of cleansing your solar plexus, then what you want to do is you can imagine now, then you can ask yourself, what type of energy feels resonant with my solar plexus today? And you might see like an orange energy. You might see a yellow energy, which is the color of the solar plexus that most people see.
Can there be something else as opposed to a color when you ask what type of energy? Is it like happy energy? Is it calming energy?
If it's happy or calming, then like what color is that? So give it a color. And then what you want to do then is imagine that coming through the top of your head and filling up your space. But then I want you to imagine it coming out your solar plexus and filling the room that you're in. So we are filling the room that we're in with our specific energy. Okay. Now what this does is it kind of embeds our energy into everything around us after we've filled ourselves up. So this enhances our like sense of self energetically before we do it physically. Does that make sense? So it enhances us, like our presence. It enhances your presence.
Oh, I see. It's like priming us for that whole thing. Absolutely.
For feeling more confident, for feeling better. And like this works really well too if you're in a new space. So if you're like traveling and you're a little nervous, do this in your hotel room before you leave. If you're in your car about to go into a network meeting, do this in your car before you leave, before you get out. If you're at home and you're about to go on a date, do this before you leave for the date.
Giving you that confidence before that date, that happiness, that it's going to be cool no matter what. So trying this can help to infuse your energy into the space around you. You're infusing it within your physical body and your energy field so that your presence is enhanced before you before it's like your energy field will believe in you before you believe in yourself. Like that's kind of the vibe that I'm trying to say. Yeah. I mean, it's like you're swimming around soaking in all that energy and you already soaked it all up. It's coming out of you and it's just like you're swimming in it right now. So you have such an abundance of that. So how couldn't you be just overflowing with that when you're walking into this new place that you want to go, or you want to attack a new task, a new whatever for your job, you know? It could be a social, could be a picnic, could be a Thanksgiving. Sometimes people get all worked up to go and meet people and all of that, but definitely a first date, right? Oh, a job interview, whatever that could be. Could you imagine? Yeah, just one more way of getting pumped up for a job interview where it's just you're overflowing with this thing. And when someone notices something on you, they're like, oh, that guy's just glowing. That girl's just glowing. Just, I love that energy that's coming off of someone. This is what we're talking about, right? It's that intangible thing that other people notice and they pick up on, and the world ends up then attracting those things that you want. You're going to have a little more calm. You're going to have a little more happy. You're going to be all these things, whatever it is, whatever energy you want to soak in that day, you're just going to be full of it. Like, so cool. What an easy trick. And it's not a joke. Try it. Try it. I dare you to try it and tell me you don't feel more of that thing that you want, right? And if you don't, perhaps you didn't do the first cleansing part well enough to just clear it off first. I'm thinking of fruit. I don't know why. It's like infusing fruit with vodka or whatever it is. But it's just like, you got to wash the fruit first and then you soak it with this thing. Now it's full of vodka. But, it could be full of whatever this emotion is, this color, this good vibrating energy that just achieves you those things that you want in life. I love that.
Yeah. And something else that you can do is if you move your hand in a counterclockwise motion over your solar plexus. So this would be a counterclockwise motion, like your hand is going counterclockwise to your body. So if you look down, it actually looks like your hand is moving clockwise, but your hand is moving counterclockwise to your body.
Which way is that, babe?
The other way.
The other way.
Yeah. So you look down, it looks like
when I
your
look
hand,
straight at it, it looks like we're going counterclockwise.
clockwise.
Oh, because from the inside, it's like you're looking from your stomach looking out, it would be clockwise, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be messing your whole body up if you do it the wrong way.
And again,
no,
it can be intention. So,
but
yeah, when you look,
we're just trying to align things that have been known to work. So
yeah,
that's
so
what we're
moving
going
your
over.
hand counterclockwise. Yeah. So when I look down, my hand is moving counterclockwise. Yes. This will pull out energy. So pull out excess energy from the solar plexus. So if you're someone who has too much solar plexus energy, you get really irritated really easily. You are a little angry person. Maybe you're a little protective. Or maybe you just feel like you have a lot of like fire energy in your body. You can move your hand over in a counterclockwise motion for 30 to 90 seconds, and then come back. Again, set an intention of the energy you want to bring in. Maybe you want to bring in peace. Maybe you want to bring in calm, confidence, whatever. And then move your hand in a clockwise motion over your solar plexus for 30 to 90 seconds. So you can try that. That's one of my favorites. I do that with clients, in-person clients, all the time. And the energy shift, you can test it. The energy shift is instant.
So I just want to relate that to actual physics, right? I've got a lot of degrees and I've always enjoyed math and physics, but literally, so there's a magnetic field and the electromagnetic field. Like there's two fields and they run perpendicular to each other. Literally, the way you know is that in the electric field, if you go this way, that it's spinning around this way, you go like this, your thumb ends up pointing the way that the magnetic field is. So electromagnetic field goes this way. We know that magnetic field is going this way. So if the electromagnetic field is this way, the magnetic field is going this way. So literally, depending that handedness of what you're talking about, that's exactly what you're talking about, where one actually would force it inward and another one would push it outward. That's exactly how motors work. I mean, it's the coil that goes around and the motor spins and it ends up, a DC motor ends up making.
Oh gosh, babe.
What? But I'm just telling you, it's physics is out there and that has all been explained. Yet sometimes people think of energy work and they think that that's a little bit of hoo-ha, frou-frou, all this stuff. But I'm telling you, it's all grounded in physics. We are all atoms at the end of the day and electrons. And guess what? It is all related in that same type of way. So I'm not surprised that you get good results from all of this because it's absolutely founded in science. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And so what else you can do if you are someone that you connected to your solar plexus and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even feel anything here. You want some boundaries. So you can do what's called an energy zip up. This is when you start at your feet.
We've done that one.
And then you just kind of imagine zipping your field up, going to the base of your neck, and then like starting down underneath your tailbone and then just going up halfway up your back. So you're like zipping your field up. So this will help establish some type of energetic barrier between you and random people that you're coming into contact with. And then also for you, I would recommend at the end of the day, you're disconnecting your energy from everyone, everywhere that you went.
Don't drag it on at the end of the day.
And that would be probably like a people pleaser. Those types of people, you are so immersed in other people's energy that you don't know yourself from the stranger next door. And what you want to do is you want to reestablish a sense of self. And so we start with energetic boundaries. And then as we practice energetic boundaries, setting verbal boundaries becomes a little easier. All right. Because some of us are timid to set boundaries because we don't want to upset somebody or we don't want to seem rude or whatever story we've created. We can be timid to do that. So if you are a people pleaser and you have like no sense of self with your energy field, practice doing that energetic zip up every morning before you start your day. Disconnect your energy at night. And then after a week or two, notice if it's easier to set physical boundaries or verbal boundaries or to say no or to speak up for yourself more, because it will translate, because everything happens first in the energy field and then it happens in our physical reality.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I imagine you also know this because you've tried these things, because you've wanted to have some boundaries and wanted to clear things out, and you've sought out and you've noticed different ways for this.
I have done so much solar plexus work because my solar plexus was so fucked from just like all of the inner child stuff that I had to heal and like some of the stuff that I experienced as a kid. My solar plexus was so fucked, and a lot of high achievers might have fucked up solar plexus because
that's a technical term, the energy field, guys.
Your confidence is based on external validation from someone else telling you that you're good enough, right? So if you are a high achiever, if you are someone that is just like always, maybe you strive for straight A's in school or you were like a star athlete or whatever, and it always relied on that external celebration, that external validation from other people telling you how great you are, then we never developed the internal sense of self of I am good enough no matter what. It's safe to fail. I'm good enough if I fail. And I never established that because that just wasn't something that I experienced when I was a kid. I didn't learn how to. So growing up, I found myself in a lot of those physically based relationships. I found myself victimizing myself. I found myself being a huge freaking people pleaser. I found myself not knowing what I wanted because I didn't know me from the random guy in the line next to me. And therefore, it led me down a path of becoming so depressed and anxious that I needed to do something to get out of it, which led me to energy work. But the point is the solar plexus was the first chakra that I am the root, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. You can go watch the video about that if you're curious about more and you haven't seen it. Those two I did a lot of work on together because remember, root is how we identify. It's our true sense of self in the world, how we identify with the world, with our family, feeling safe in the world. And then the solar plexus is like our confidence and do we believe we're worthy and good enough? And those two for me were so messed up that I spent the first couple years of my journey really, really, really addressing those and coming up with practices to work with them specifically because I did not believe in myself at all. And to this day, it is the thing that I need to work on the most is my self-belief, self-doubt, and feeling good enough even if I fail or things don't work out how I wanted them to. And learning that inner sense of self versus you telling me who I am or you telling me how good I am or whatever.
Yeah. Do you guys relate to any of that at all? You know, you're always seeking that outside validation and just there's almost never enough. You know, the voice inside your head is like, yes, but you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. And so this stuff,
I could be better. So like, I'm not going to be happy about whatever it is that you do.
Yeah. And this is like, these exercises I give you guys are so freaking easy because I want you to implement them. I want you to do them every day because that's when you experience the shifts. And there are different layers and levels to this. So you might experience a shift and then you might have like a setback. Doesn't mean you're going backwards. It just means like, oh, cool, there's a different layer here. I've graduated to the next level of the video game because I'm expanding into more in my life. As I expand into more, there might be different things that pop up. That's totally fine. So do these exercises, find a way to make them a part of your ritual because they are simple, but they're powerful. Don't think something isn't powerful because it's simple. It's often the most simplest things are the most powerful because they're simple, right? They are the foundation. They are our alphabet. They are numbers. They are us learning how to add and subtract and multiply before we're over here doing algebra and different algorithms. They are the basis of us, right? So do these exercises, practice them, and notice how things shift in your reality. Notice how you show up differently because it will turn, what do I want to say? It will show up in your physical reality. I can't think of the word, but it will like lay over into how you show up every single day. And yeah, I know this because I had to do this work. I've done this work for so long and it still is work that I do regularly, but
yeah. And so don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect at it right away. You ever see any of those lines that show where you are and where you want to be? And you think it's a straight line to get there for where you want to go. It's like, oh, that's the future. No, it's never like that. Sometimes you think it might have a curve. It's never smooth. You kidding me? There's ups, there's downs, there's lows, there's zigzag. You're almost close. Then you're like, Candyland, you go and you get the thing, Miss Professor Plum, so you go back to the very beginning of the whole thing. But guess what? You might still win that game at the end no matter what. Understand that the journey isn't necessarily going to be smooth. We have to learn different things. We have to get different equipment. We've got to get different lessons along the way. And that's what gives us the ability to achieve more, to go one step further, because otherwise you just fall down flat on your face.
Or you stay in the same exact place.
Or you stay.
When I found this work, I was in a super toxic relationship. I've talked about it in previous ones of these, but I was in a super toxic relationship. And that's when I started working on my solar plexus. And as I started working on my solar plexus and my root together, as well as other things, I was doing coaching and I was doing inner child healing and all of the things. But I was focusing on those two energy centers specifically and like keeping them open and really standing in my, like my sense of self and feeling confident and empowered. And it's through this work that I was eventually able to leave that relationship for good and put a hammer in that coffin for good, because I kept going back. I would leave and then I would go back. I would leave and then I would go back. But it wasn't until like I did this work consistently for years that I finally was able to leave and not go back. And then I found Zac, and Zac compliments me on every level. And so it works. This stuff works. He's proof of it. And so this stuff works. And, but it might take some time depending on how long you have been digging this hole in the ground. It might take some time, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's not like, oh shit, that's going to take a while, I'm not even going to start. No, start now so you can reap the benefits of the rewards in a couple months from now or a year from now, because the time's going to pass anyways. But who you are within that time frame has the potential to be wildly different if you decide to do this work now versus if you're like, oh, that's a long time, that's a lot of work, I don't think I want to put in the effort. Do it now. It doesn't have to be perfect now. Like I set a goal to tap every morning. And for like the past 2.5 weeks, there's still been like 4 mornings that I haven't tapped. But one of them I tapped at night, and now I'm starting to get back into it. I went like 2 days, I skipped 2 days, and now I'm like 2 or 3 days strong. So you're going to fall off the horse at first, but get back on and keep riding, because you're not at your destination yet. So why the hell would you want to walk when you can get a ride?
Don't expect perfection from yourself, but don't be complacent. If you're not perfect, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I'm not perfect, so what's the point of doing
don't
tomorrow?
Let that story run into your head either.
Because that used to be my type of story. I was always a perfectionist growing up as a child. And so if I wasn't perfect, or in my mind perfect, right? Who the heck is perfect as a child? But in my mind, perfect enough at this thing, then I wasn't going to go and attack it. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to move forward. I was just going to give up. If we kept that type of attitude all in life, then we'd all give up all the time, because there's so much to so much pushback, so many failures that we end up having.
And when you keep commitments to yourself, you are also enhancing the energy in your solar plexus,
and
because that helps increase self-trust and confidence. And those are two things that align with your solar
and
plexus.
change your perspective to glass half full versus glass half empty, as opposed to how many you've missed, count how many you have had in that time compared to how many you did before this. Do a ratio there. It's 1,000,000% more because you didn't do it before. So be happy, celebrate that in yourself, right? I can't wait to have our little child, because we're going to end up celebrating so many little things with them. They're probably going to be sick of celebrating things, or maybe when they're older, I think they'll just love celebrating things all the time. And that would just make my heart so happy. Just this happy little child that's just always celebrating things and bringing joy all around them. That's what we try to do. That's what we try to do for you guys and in our lives. And we're not perfect either. Trust me, we have bad days. Call it what you want. We've got things that beat us down. We didn't present last week because, holy smokes, I felt like I got hit by a truck and I got some weird virus thing that I was in bed from Monday till Wednesday, and I couldn't even move to get some water out of it. Felt like a little baby, but luckily we've got wonderful people that can help us in our lives, and we've put enough good credits and happiness into them that they don't mind reciprocating that back. Get those people in your lives, get rid of the toxic ones that will bring you down, that you can't rely on. Whether you're sick, you can't rely on when you're having problems with your business, your relationship, anything like that. Get those good people that are trying to be more and that hold you accountable to more too. And that's one of the things that I love about doing this, is just holding each other accountable to being more, doing more, giving more to all of you, and just sharing what we know and sharing that journey as well with you guys. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with us, for growing with us, and look forward to you again 1 week from now. We might have a third human to join us on that. We'll see. I don't know.
We will not be live if this human shows up
from
now until
1 week
next
from
Monday.
Now. Yeah. Well, so again, glass half full. We'll try, we'll consider, we'll also feel how our body feels with everything.
How this body feels.
Yeah, it's really this body
our
feels.
Bodies,
and all of that. Whatever, we're both pregnant, right? That's how it rolls. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Carolyn, absolutely. Thank you
Carolyn.
so much. Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited to be parents. So thank you for that. And with that, we're going to leave you some happy vibes and see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Rock on, everyone. Take care and lots of love.